In society, IQ is very often recognized as the sole measure of intelligence, but there is another gauge of intelligence which has very little to do with intellect. This measure is known as emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is defined as the capacity to be aware of, control and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. It is generally said to include 4 skills: emotional awareness, perceiving emotion, the ability to harness emotions and apply them to tasks like thinking and problem solving, and the ability to manage emotions, which include regulating your own emotions and cheering up or calming down other people. The easiest way to differentiate emotional intelligence and intellect is to think of them as the left brain and the right brain. The left brain is intellect encompassing quantitative, mathematic, and scientific traits, while the right brain is emotional intelligence inhabiting creativity, passion, and empathy. The idea of social intelligence emerged in one of Edward Thorndike's publishings in 1920. However, the term was first used in the communication of emotional meaning by Michael Beldock in 1964. The term emotional intelligence gained massive popularity in the 1995 book by Daniel Goleman by the same title. One of the most significant proponents of emotional intelligence was Daniel Goleman. He pointed out that people with the highest IQs are not always the most successful people. He was known for contending that both emotional intelligence and intellect are needed to succeed. Some characteristics of low emotional intelligence include being clueless about one's feelings, the inability to maintain friendships, the inability to cope with sadness, the downplay of the importance of emotions, and the inability to cope with stress. However, this does not always mean that those who demonstrate these traits are of low emotional intelligence. Some characteristics of a person with high emotional intelligence are: they are able to handle criticism without denial, blame, excuses, or anxiety. They are open-minded. They usually are good listeners. They don't sugarcoat the truth, and they apologize when they're wrong. Some studies show that people with high emotional intelligence have greater mental health, better job performance, and better leadership skills. Because higher emotional intelligence can lead to these benefits, many people subconsciously seek to raise their emotional intelligence. In media today, increasing emotional intelligence is portrayed as a shortcut to success in the workplace. Due to its popularized image that the media has created, people often seek to increase emotional intelligence in an attempt to help themselves instead of other people. This approach, however, to increasing emotional intelligence is ineffective, as emotional intelligence is not raised through a person's self-interest, but through their desire to be able to help and affect others. Some notable people with high emotional intelligence include Magnus Carlsen, Leonardo DiCaprio, Christoph Waltz, Warren Buffett, and Howard Schultz. Occupational therapy is a form of therapy for those recuperating from physical or mental illness that encourages rehabilitation through the performance of activities required in daily life. It is important in occupational therapy to be able to identify and help patients with both physical and emotional problems. Having a high emotional capacity or intelligence is very important for occupational therapists as it helps them better understand their patients. Daniel Goleman, author of Emotional Intelligence, once said, "In a very real sense, we have 2 minds, one that thinks and one that feels." In a society that so highly values intellect, which do you consider more important?